Today is the 14th of November 2013. We're in Crainesville, New York, which is right outside of Amsterdam. My name is Wayne Clark. My assistant is Suzanne Strauss. And we're with the New York State Military Museum, and we're doing a home interview today. Sir, for the record, would you please state your full name and date and place of birth, please?
My name is Edward C. Liebelt. What do you want else?
Whereabouts and
Well, I
where were
live
you
in
born?
147 Riverview Drive,
Okay.
Amsterdam.
All right, and whereabouts were you born?
I was born up on Swart Hill.
Is that Amsterdam?
1971. I mean, yeah, 1971. 1921.
1921,
Yeah.
okay. All right, and the day?
July the 21st.
Okay.
Okay. All right, and you attended school here locally?
I went to Swart Hill School, a little country school,
Mhm.
then I went to high school.
And did you graduate from high school?
No, I quit to go to the service, and then all of a sudden, two weeks later, I was drafted. So, but I got my diploma here about 10 years ago.
Okay. Now, when did you go into the service?
Army Air Force.
Okay. When?
It was,
Well, approximately, what year was
I
it?
think it was September 24th, I think it was. Yeah.
Of
1942.
1942. Do you recall, this is going back before then, do you recall where you were when you heard about Pearl Harbor being attacked?
I'm pretty sure we were up shopping, wasn't we, Terry? Or, no, I was at the Shelmadines gas station and on Main Street here.
I don't know where
Yeah,
you
we
were,
were-
but I was down by the Main Street by the bank.
Yeah, we were
I remember
shocked.
that.
God,
You
almighty,
guys
I couldn't
weren't
believe it.
married then, were you?
No, we weren't.
Okay.
No.
Okay. And you ended up enlisting before you got drafted. Now, you enlisted in the Army Air Force?
No, I said I was drafted.
Right.
And then they asked me what on the Army or the Army Air Force. I said about the Army Air Force
Okay.
because I always liked airplanes,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And if you see those airplanes all on the porch there, when we get sad, she takes one airplane, I take the other. It's one of those little aluminum airplanes I made.
Now, had you ever flown before you went in the service?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have a pilot's license?
No, the first time I rode in one was in Hawaii. It was an A-25,
Okay.
and it was all different colors. And they told us we're going to form a night fighter outfit.
Okay. All right.
So we painted it black.
All right. Let me go back a ways. You went into the Army Air Force, or yeah.
Yeah,
I was going to say Air Corps, but Air Force.
yeah.
Where did they send you for your training initially?
Fort Dix, New Jersey.
Okay. And how long were you at Fort Dix for?
Roughly 2-3 weeks, I think. 3 weeks.
And then where did they send
Then
you?
they sent me to Florida.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and then I got my training down there.
Mm-hmm.
And
Now, did you stay at one of the hotels down there?
yeah, Havana.
Okay.
The Havana Hotel, and I remember that because we marched. We did a lot of marching, you know, especially in the rain. And I caught pneumonia,
Yep.
and from there, I went to California on a train.
For additional training?
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
And what type of training did you receive?
Oh, just exercises and marching mostly, and
Okay.
see how your strength is, you know. But I was a young
Okay.
lad, and I was pretty well fit. You'll see some of my pictures in the Army.
Okay.
And then they said, well, we want to kind of figure out, some of you guys look pretty smart. You know, I mean, me, I said, yeah, I'm a mechanic,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a carpenter, I'm a plumber, and I went on the side. Another guy went there. The rest of the guys kept their mouths shut. They went to school, you know, to learn something. But they were smarter than I was. They kept their mouths shut, you know.
Okay.
So what do we zip? I went over to Hawaii then. We took a boat with to Hawaii, you know.
Ah,
And that's when we started the night fighter outfit.
okay. Now, before you went to Hawaii, did you have any aviation training?
I used to pre-flight the A-25s.
Okay.
Yeah.
So after your basic training, you did have some additional
Yeah.
aviation training. Okay.
Yeah, that was. And I said to the captain, I said, listen, are we going to catch those Zeros with this great big monster? I said, only goes 250 miles an hour. Well, we got radar tanks at the bottom of these planes. We'll catch them sleeping up in the air. That was a farce. They couldn't catch them if they had a shotgun. So anyway, that was kaput. Then they said, well, that didn't work. I said, well, to the captain, I kind of told you so, didn't I? Yeah, they'll be so smart. He says, we're going to get the P-51 now. We'll catch them. So we got the P-51s. It was altogether a different story, you know.
Now, whereabouts were you based out of? You went to?
Based on the Wheeler field
Oh, so you stayed in?
in Hawaii.
Oh, for your whole time?
Yeah. Well, I mean, for a couple of months.
Okay.
See? And then the captain said, well, we're going to take all the planes, and we're going to New Guinea. That was the original spot we were going to land in, you know?
Yep.
So anyway, they said, well, you guys, the crew chiefs, and all, it was about 12, 14 of us left at camp.
Mm-hmm.
We waited and waited and waited. We waited a month and a half. And finally, somebody spoke up and says, when are we going to New Guinea? And we got the orders this morning. You're going down Monday morning. You're going to Pearl Harbor. And you're going to get on a boat. And you're going to go all the way to New Guinea. Fine. So the next morning, we went down to Pearl Harbor, and I get down there, and I looked, I said, oh my God, look at the size of that boat. I says, we're going to go on a lecture. And the captain of this PT boat alongside of it says, come here, fella, you're going in this PT boat. I said, what? You're crazy, I said, to cross the ocean in that little canoe, half the length of this house. So anyway, he says, you'll be all right. And all of a sudden I looked at the tail end of the boat, and here's 6 55-gallon drums. The captain says, this is your water. I says, you gotta be kidding. That's not water. You know what that is? That's oil drums. And that's there to hold the ship down while we're going on there. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here today. And he says, keep your mouth shut. Don't tell the rest of the guys. So off we go. He says, well, we're going to hit Palmyra, first island. That island is only 7 foot above sea level. So anyway, we get halfway to Palmyra, and one of my best friends, said, I don't feel very good. So he started vomiting. And his blood come out, and everything else. We turned around. We turned the ship around, went back to Pearl Harbor, and let them off. Then we went back to Palmyra, and we had lunch there, and so anyway, from there we stayed overnight.
Mm-hmm.
Then we went to the Fiji Islands, and we didn't get off. I says, are we going to get off? I says, we've been on the water for about 7 hours. I'm hungry. Well, he says, we got some pineapple and some little hot dogs for you to eat on the way. I said, I need a good meal. So anyway, he says, you're not going to go over there. Why? They radioed to him, do not dispart here, because the Marines were here and they raised holy hell. They raped our women, so if you value your life, do not let these men off. There was only 12 of us. So all we had, they said, well, we give some food. So they gave us a little bit of food, and off we went again. We went to Samoa. And when we got there,
You left the light on.
when we got there, it was a different story. All of a sudden, we didn't go in the right way. And I said to the captain, did you read the map right? We came up on the reef, and we couldn't move. So anyway, they said, well, we're going to have to stay here. We're going to have to stay here until the tide comes up, you know. So that's why our journey was from Hawaii to New Guinea was 47 days. Can you imagine that? 47 days. So anyway, we were on the boat, and we waited the next day, and we still couldn't move. We still couldn't move. And all of a sudden, one of the bigger boats came by, and they pulled us off the reef. You know. So anyway, we went to the next island. I forget what it was. We went to so many of them that I lost track of them already. You know.
Well, I see on your bag you've got them all listed there.
I know it. So I meant to put an order of it, but you know, I was looking for a map of the ocean. Then I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You know, but half of them is from Hawaii to New Zealand. The captain says, this is it. Well, I'm ahead of myself. So anyway, it was only about 2 islands. I think it was, I gotta take a look where, I can't move. But that's all right. Anyway, it was one of the islands. Yeah, that's a good idea. It was one of the, I think it was what's that, Nikatari? Yeah. So anyway, all of a sudden, the wind come up, and the captain says, "Hey, just go on." See, I'm ahead of myself now. The next island was, we also went up on a reef, and they're calling us. They says, "Now listen, identify yourself, or we're going to shoot you out of the water." And all of a sudden, our radio goes out. And what are we going to do now? So everybody says, we're going to shoot you out of the water. We'll give you 10 minutes to get off of there. We said, we can't get off because we can't move. So anyway, we had one sailor there, and he grabbed the flag, and he's making that signal there. Yep. And they says, we acknowledge you. We had the American flag, but it was all wound around. They couldn't tell it was Jap or American flag, you know. So anyway, we kept going. Then all of a sudden, the next island, just before the next island, the wind started coming up, and I says, "God Almighty!" And then I said, "Look at those waves." And you see, I'm just a little bit ahead of myself. There was a little boat that traveled alongside of was supposed to guard us, that we didn't run into any trouble. So anyway, the waves were so deep, we couldn't see the other boat. So anyway, the captain says, we're going to have, what they got in the Philippines now?
Oh, typhoon.
Oh, typhoon.
We're going to have a typhoon. And that was at the beginning of it. We couldn't eat, we couldn't sleep, we couldn't do nothing. And the boat was ready to tip over, and the 3 of us were holding hands. The captain says, "Listen, say a prayer. We're not going to make it." And everybody started to cry, you know? So I get emotional
That's okay.
when I go through that.
Go ahead, you continue.
Yeah.
And so anyway, we were swimming around. We were on top of the wave, and the propeller was going like this. Wouldn't cut any water, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And we just stood there, hours and hours, you know. And I forget now how long we had that typhoon lasted, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, finally, everybody come out of the hole, and we thank the Lord. And so then we says the next island is going to be New Zealand. So we went there, and they contacted they had to get off the ship. They says, why do you call the radio? The radio's burned out. Oh, our 12 men, are just a nervous wreck. We gotta get off this boat. So then they put us on a great big boat, you know. And then we went directly to New Guinea, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And we stayed there, and we were there for quite a while. And the captain says, you know, he says, they need some sheds here. You know anything about carpenter work? I said, yeah, sure. And they got some rough lumber, and I started building, and all of a sudden they said, well, you know, we got orders that we're going to leave tomorrow. We're going to the Philippines with the infantry. We're going to invade them December the 15th. And I can remember that as it was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, we hit two other islands on there. I got on there, but anyway, we were escorted by 3 destroyers, and there was three transports. I was on 738, and anyway, my four buddies that I had, you know, I says, I'm not going down in the hole. I says, I got a sticky suspicion that those Japs are going to sneak out on us. He says, I don't think so. So we were 15 miles from shore. You could just see a black line. And the captain says, uh-oh, the destroyers turned around already. They're leaving us like a sudden ducks. And I says, no. I said, they're just changing the position. I says, baloney, they left us flat. So anyway, this was early in the morning, you know. So all of a sudden, oh, you hear that? That's them Zeros. Them suicide planes, Kamikazis. Sure enough, there was about 12 or 14 of them. They surrounded us, you know. They surrounded us. And they got so close, as far as that window, I could see him. He his teeth out. I said, "Oh my God!" And what are we gonna do? I didn't know whether to jump off the ship. By that time, before I even made a move, the bombs went off. The fire started, and there was all smoke. You couldn't see nothing. And when the one bomb went up, I went, and my buddy went up in the air. They come down. I come down on my freaking knees. That's why I got these great big knees, you know, and my shoulders. I can't hardly use my left shoulder. And all of a sudden, I straightened up, and another bomb came and blew the Jeep apart, and the Jeep wheel hit me in the shoulder, and I couldn't use this arm at all then.
Oh.
And all of a sudden, the guys were jumping off. Some of the guy jumped off on the fire side, and I says to, what's his name, Gary from Kentucky.
What?
Who was from Kentucky there?
From Kentucky?
Parker Lutz. Parker Lutz.
I don't know these guys.
He says, I can't move my left arm, he says, or my right arm. He said, what are we going to do? So the four of us stood there on the corner, and all of a sudden, there was an object there, and I says, oh, I says, Reverend, come over here. I said, you're gonna jump off with us. And he says, no, I'm not. He said, I can't swim. He says, the Lord's gonna take care of me. I said, in the meantime, jump off with us. So we all jumped off together.
Mm-hmm.
By that time, the destroyers came back. And they says, they just got dropping buoys and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And when I jumped off, I only had one arm.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I was never come back up. Because that was the deepest water, it was 2.5 miles down. And anyway, the destroyers came back and they kept throwing the buoys back. And I'm waiting for the minister to come up. And I kept swimming with one arm, you know. And all of a sudden, I said to him, hey, wait, come over here. So here he was in the fog, so I grabbed hold of him. And by that time, they threw the buoys down, and I threw the buoy over the top of him. I could have saved my life. But anyway, I saved his life.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, that left the three of us in the water. The destroyer says, the PT boat is coming in an hour or so. You stay right where you are. Where the hell are we going to go? You stay right there. They'll be after you. So we waited, I don't know, it's 3, 4, 5 hours, you know. And all of a sudden, we could see something coming, you know. And Parker just asked him in the garage, he says, you can't see nothing. And anyway, I looked, yep, I could see the smoke. And they pulled alongside of me, and they said, boy, you guys must sleep with the angels. I said, I know it. I said, this whole ship is on fire, and it's ready, and half of it is going down. We don't mean that. We don't mean that, fella. And the captain started crying. He said, listen, how the hell did you get past them sharks? We was all the shark-infested waters.
Hmm.
And Parker he was bleeding like a stuck pig. And they said that the sharks smelled at a mile away.
Mm-hmm.
That's baloney. They were scared of the fire out of the water.
No, I see.
You know?
Yep.
They were scared of the fire out of the water. You know? So anyway, they brought us to the land, and it took quite a while. And it was about 20. They said it was about 20 miles away from the shore. But anyway, I was with my just boxer regular shorts, and I was near the fire, and I had a good burn, like a sunburn, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't penetrate, but it was all red, and you see the size of these, and I can't bend them. See the bulbs here?
Oh, yeah.
Both of them, you know. And so I couldn't hardly walk then. So anyway, we got in the Mindanao, and they greeted us, and they says, we'll give you clothes and everything else, and they're done, and all of a sudden come over there. Japan is ready to take the island over. By that time we didn't have no guns, so we headed up for the hills. We hid up there for it must have been a week, you know. So anyway,
What island was that?
island of Mindanao.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Island of Mindanao.
Okay.
And so anyway, they said, well, by that time we got the P-38s, and that was something else because they had belly tanks underneath them,
Mm-hmm.
and they carried a lot of information, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and the radar and everything else. So the Japs didn't get very far with the P-38s, and they said, I said, well, I'm ready to pre-flight them, and he says, I'm sorry, Ed, you're all done. He said, you're not able to. So they said, every time an airplane comes in here, I want you to take their parachute And we got a special tent, and I want you to stay right in there and make sure you double check them before they get them back, the parachutes, you know. So anyway, I no sooner said that, and all of a sudden, one of the airplanes comes in, and it was a good friend of mine too, and he's circling around, and circling around. I says, what the hell are you doing, circling around? And my buddy says, the landing gear won't come down. I says, what? No, it wasn't landing. So then he radioed down. He says, what shall I do? So one of the other pilots says, flop it right over. Flop it right over and drop out. You know? So he dropped out, but the wind came and flipped it over and caught the parachute. And I saw my buddy get killed. He went right down with it. Yeah. It was.
Well, when did you go to Australia?
Huh?
When did you go to Australia?
After this.
After that?
Yeah, after this, because they, after, I would take the
Okay.
parachutes out and give them to the natives, and I got Marty Green, a little Jew boy, says, hey,
3 times.
Okay.
you want to go for a ride? I said,
Okay.
well, I can't do
Thank you.
nothing else. So we went to
Is that okay?
Australia to pick up parts, you know, and I get there, and all of a sudden, I'm getting off of fever, and I caught malaria there, in Australia. I said, oh my God, what am I going to do now? So Marty had to wait around, and they needed the parts for the airplane, you know. So I said, well, it'd be a good time for me to take some pictures. So I went to the town, and it was Proctor Lutz and Marty Green, and anyway, they I got back, and all of a sudden I got into the airplane. I said, I want to get into the airplane because I have never been in a P-38. So they helped me in the airplane and took my picture. See here, and then the captain says, you know, he says, we really enjoyed you, and you did a beautiful job here, but we want to send you home on a furlough. Yeah. So in the meantime, I'm just a little bit ahead. Before I went to Australia, I said, the boss says, take the Jeep and take a ride around Mindanao. And I met this one family. They were multimillionaires. That was the only family around in a 50-mile radius. And I said to the girl, I says, and the family is, how come? The Jap did away with all the poor ones. They killed them all. But if you had any money, they wanted. And they get anything for it. And this family had 500 caribous. They owned 5 homes in Manila. So anyway, I'm coming back, and anyway, I'm getting ready to go, and all of a sudden, here comes, guess who coming in? Charles Lindbergh. Charles Lindbergh. Imagine that. I says, I never was going to meet him. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
So anyway, my buddy, I didn't have the camera at that time because I lost it on that boat. So anyway, he says, well, take a picture of me with him. You know? And all of a sudden, on the radio, Charles says, hey, I got to get the hell out of here. He says, General Washington is in Manila and he's waiting for me. So then all of a sudden, they said, Ed, you ready to go? Yeah. So they said, well, you're up for tech sergeant. I said, you want the tech sergeant or you want to go home? I says, I want to go home. I want to see my mother, father, and my girl. And so that's how it all ended. You know?
So when did you go back home?
It was in 45, I think it was in August.
What was it after they dropped the atomic bomb?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Okay. Now, when you heard about them dropping the atomic bomb, was it a shock to you that one bomb could be that devastating?
Oh, I'm telling you, I was devastated. Honest to God, you know. I said, it was a miracle, but still in all, it had to be done in order to stop them.
Mm-hmm.
It had to be done in order to stop them. Well, now it got so that everybody's scared. Everybody's scared. Look at Iran. They're making friends with her again now,
Mm-hmm.
because she knows more than we do now, you know. So I don't know. I often wonder that. I thought maybe that when they got rid of Saddam, it would be all over. It'd be a different world.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it wasn't. It was worse than ever, and we lost a lot of extra men for nothing. You know.
Mm-hmm.
If they want to fight, put them aside. Let them fight.
Mm-hmm.
But don't get involved until you really have to.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Now, when they gave you word that you were heading for home, did you go back home by ship?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And whereabouts did you land?
I landed in California.
And were you discharged in California, or did they
No,
send
I
you
went
back?
to Fort Dix.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
So obviously you probably traveled across country by train,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you were discharged at Fort Dix?
Yeah. Yeah. And when we got there at Fort Dix, you know, and there was
Mhm.
2 lines there, and it says I'm hobbling and all because I can hardly I can't straighten my knees out, and I'm walking funny, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and this arm is down. So anyway, it says now this line is for all you injured soldiers, and this one here, go on home. So anyway, I says, I want to go home. And then the attendant says, well, they'll know about it as soon as you get home. They'll notify you. They got your name already. And they make sure you can be compensated. Compensated, hell. I waited 60 years. I called them up. I sent letters and everything else. They said, well, listen, you got so somebody that you knew was on that ship? Yes, there was 4 of my buddies. Well, write them and tell them to send them there. And it didn't work, and it didn't work, and it didn't work. So finally, one guy says, Parker Lutz, he wrote a letter to New York.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, this woman come down, and she says, would you mind walking over here? And I was in a wheelchair. I said, I can't walk. She says, you can't walk and you're only getting 40% disability? She says, they'll be ashamed of themselves. Then I showed her the slip. It was in the paper. This little guy, you probably saw it, little guy from Oneonta. He had post-traumatic stress disorder just like I have. Nightmares and everything else. And anyway, he never got hurt, nothing. He got a steady job. He got back paid. He got $296,000. So I pulled that slip out that showed the one that was interviewing me.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, well, we'll see about that when we get there. So anyways, she sent me $42,000, and she says, you'll be getting 100% disability. And within 2 weeks, I got 100% disability. You know what? I needed it when the kids were small. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they worked their ass off going to college. You know, now I can help them out. Now, you know, I don't know. She said, you get wound up too much. I can't help it.
Oh, that's all right. Now, when you got back home, did you make use of the GI Bill at all? Did you go to school or use any of the money to buy a home with?
Yes, we bought this house. We paid an awful lot of money for it. We paid $3,700. When we looked at it, there was a swimming pool underneath it.
Ah,
So anyway, there was a toilet over there, there was a sink over there, and all of a sudden, I said, how the hell? We couldn't get the guy out that we bought it from. He says, we gotta get in there, because we was up on Grove and Anvil. So he says, okay. So he ripped all the blinds out and marked all the walls and everything else. You know. In the meantime, we went to a shindig with my brother-in-law, and there was an old timer there, and he was a contractor. And I got telling him, I said, I bought a house with a swimming pool inside. He says, that's no problem, he says. He says, please raise the house up 4 feet. He says, and then, he says, we block it up, put your wall on the inside, and on the pipes on the outside and on the inside, and never had no water since.
Hmm.
Imagine that.
Pretty good.
And I got a nice spring there, but the neighbor has been running the horseman or Kelman or behind it, so we don't drink. We buy all our water,
mm-hmm.
you know. But it's been heaven here, you know. Got good neighbors. I did get robbed from. I don't want to get into that. That's because it's my own relatives, but that's normal for you gamble, you know.
Yeah. Now, did you stay in contact with? Well, obviously you stayed in contact with.
I contacted, and every one of them dead.
Yeah.
Every one of them. No.
Now, did you ever attend any like ship reunions or anything like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The last one was Marty Green, little Jew boy. He had a delicatessen in Brooklyn, and we were just like twin brothers, you know. And his daughter never let me know. My daughter says, I'll find out. So she got on the internet, and here it says, Marty Green, deceased March 5th. And they never let me know.
Oh.
You know. Nick Lozano in Herkimer, he worked in a carpenter shop, you know. He observed all that dust and everything else, and he died of heart congestion, you know. And Bob Anderson, he died the same way. And who the heck else? There was so many, there was 4 of my closest friends, you know, that we always send cards and Christmas cards and gifts and everything else. And right to the last, and I'm the last one, but I'm on borrowed time. I'm on 92, you know, and I just lost my 2 sisters. One was 94 and the other was 86. But God has been good to me. That's why I say I wanted to write a short essay, why God has been good to me. You know, I started it, but
Okay.
can't do it.
Did you ever find out about the minister? If
No, but he's the one sending that little snapshot on the
Okay. I will get
Okay.
that.
So he survived.
Yeah, he kept in track, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because there was a photographer on the destroyer, and they took a picture, but it was a small picture,
Uh-huh.
and so he knew that I was a 35th Fighter Squadron. See, so he sent an envelope and a note that I had the note that God bless you. He says, "We thank you for saving my life." And there's a blown up picture of it too. This
Okay.
is
So this one?
the ship.
Okay.
But
Is it
there's
in one of the
there's
envelopes?
two of them there
Okay.
that my friends are weighing in.
Yep.
Now, did you join any veterans organizations
Yeah, I'm
like
going
the?
to the VFW.
Okay.
Yes.
No, this is Limburg.
Oh, wow.
That's Limburg.
Let me see that.
Johnny Limburg.
Wow. Was
Yeah.
that his plane?
Yeah, it's a P-38 that I was
You got
cruising
the
from.
picture of Charles Lindbergh?
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, by chance, did you ever hear of the? He was a P-38 pilot, and he was the highest-ranking pilot in the Pacific. His name was Dick Bong.
Yeah.
Okay.
They had that blown up. This is 738. See it?
Okay.
But when she did that, she didn't have the paper the wrong
Yeah,
way.
but that's
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Pretty good,
So
though.
anyway,
Okay.
as I said before, God has been good to me.
Mhm.
Honest to God. You
And
know,
is this you?
yeah, that's me. Yeah. You know,
Let's see.
my wife said to me, "Please don't bring it up." When I say that God has been good to me, because He's been good to me ever since I was 8 years old. I almost got killed.
Now, who is this right here?
This is me.
And this?
See that? This is me. This is
With,
this
with
is
all
our
these
name.
women?
This when I was in Hawaii,
Uh-huh.
when I was in Hawaii, I was dancing with the hula girls and Bob Hope. And this is my sister.
Oh, that's your sister on
Yeah.
the right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And did you guys sleep in these kind of tents?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
That's when we got stuck on the reef, and they said, "Well, I don't know how long you're going to be here." We were there 47 days. So anyway, that's another thing. My buddy and I parked the bus, went into the woods, and got all these twigs to make that tent.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, Parker says, "Did you hear something?" I said, "No." So I bent down to pick the twig up, bang! And that Jap shot at me, but I had bent down. That's why I say,
Oh.
God has been good to me, I'm telling you.
Yeah. Now, I see you guys with a little puppy.
Oh, yeah, I had that in,
It says,
Hawaii.
yeah, in his dog, but Eddie with his dog and
Yeah.
two buddies.
Yeah. And I also had a little monkey. I got a little monkey, honest to God. I had a little monkey, and when I jumped off, I threw him off first, too, yeah.
And
This
that's
is Marty
you?
Green, little Jew boy from Brooklyn. Yeah.
One of his buddies.
Oh, God, I'll tell you.
And how about this guy?
This is the guy who got killed. Come on, wait a minute. Parachute got out.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's Captain Everhart, it says,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah.
Hmm. That's the gentleman that was killed. I have a friend with that name.
When did they?
And how about these?
Well, this is me in a boat. No.
Yeah.
When we were stranded on that island,
Okay.
the natives were there, and he says, "Now we got a rubber boat. Why don't you go out there? We'll give you a battery." And my son-in-law, he runs a shop. He does dynamite. So we took a dynamite in the boat, and everybody had fresh fish today.
And you caught fish with dynamite. Did you hear that one?
Because
Yeah.
after the dynamite went off, all the fish came to the top.
Wow.
When did they want you
Sorry.
to come to California to work on the planes?
What?
I
When
can
did
get
they
it.
call
I
you
got
to work on the planes in
That's him out in the
Well,
California?
after I got home, they wanted me
They
to
were all
come to
catching
They
fish.
wanted me to come to Hawaii and be a crew chief.
And which one are you in this one?
Oh, this is that same tent. This
Okay.
is Marty Green, and you know this is another thing. We built this right along the coastline. You know, we didn't realize this was down tide,
Right.
and well, all of a sudden, I said, "Hey, are you getting wet?" The tide come up, we got our tube out wet.
Now, is that you?
That's me, yeah.
Okay, so he's on the right wing.
Yeah.
He's over here.
Okay.
And I got, there's, they're showing the pictures of the Filipino family.
What?
Show pictures of the female
Filipino family?
Filipino family. It's on the
I didn't
stand
know you had one.
theory.
On the stand?
It's on that shelf there by the window.
Okay.
On the shelf on the
I
window.
don't know what it is.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, after I got wounded and I couldn't do nothing, I would take a ride over and visit the Filipino families.
He never
Uh-huh.
called me.
And,
Picture of the-
There's Eddie! There's Eddie! Cook a chicken! And the kids were nuts with it. They called me Uncle Eddie. Uncle
Oh.
Eddie.
These. I'll get them for him.
Oh, maybe.
Okay. Is it these? Then?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, we had an exhibition here.
Can you turn that light up? Over there.
Mhm.
Oh, wait a minute. Derry, hit that remote, will you? Hit the remote. See, I got a safety gadget here, and
Over here.
on
On.
Maybe you turned it.
the top one.
Oh, there we go.
Got
Okay.
it.
And
Very good.
Okay, that helps.
anyway, this is the whole film family, and they were well to do on vegetables and everything. And here's her father, and here's
Can you turn that around and show him?
oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they thought the world of me, and I feel bad because I couldn't do nothing for them. In fact, about a week before I was supposed to go, they walked all the way over to the camp, and they says, Eddie, we're in trouble. We got 2 caribous that are stuck in the mud, and they're worth about $5,000 a piece.
Right here.
Yes, those are 2. So
Wow.
I got that 16-wheeler,
Let's see.
the truck. I
Mhm.
put a cable around them, and I pulled them out of that muck, you know. And in the meantime, I lost my billfold, and I had about $300 in it.
Mm.
Went down in the mud. The father says, Eddie, I heard you lost your billfold. And he says, how much did you have? I said, I don't know, about $300. So he reached in his pocket, handed me $300.
Huh?
After that, he says,
You want to
the
get his,
caribou was worth about
bag,
5,000. And they had 500 of them.
So we thought we'd show this, right?
Yeah, I see.
So I'm curious, Eddie.
This is just,
The night squadron,
yeah, you see,
is that what they were called? The
Yeah, the night
35th
squadron, yeah.
Fighter Squadron?
yeah, night fighter squadron.
Okay.
Yeah,
The Black Panther?
yeah. We
Okay.
painted the airplane pitch black.
Yeah. With the light, I am. Okay. Maybe if I move the camera in closer, I can. Okay. Okay, that helps. Yeah. And then you were with the 5th Air Force,
Yeah.
and these are all the places.
Air Force.
Now, let me ask you, who did all that artwork? Did you do the?
Some, I forget now, some,
Was it somebody in your unit, or did you do it?
no, it was in Australia.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was in Australia because she's the one that took the pictures that I got upstairs of me, and I said, you know, I think I remember just about all the names, all the islands that I was on,
Yep.
because it took us 47 days, and so she said, well, you make a sketch as well of this. So in the meantime, I had another duffel bag.
Turn
The
that
other
light
duffel
off, I'm
bag went
sorry.
down with the ship.
Oh, it did go down with the
Yes,
ship.
went down with
Yeah.
everything. I have one of
Don't leave
them
that.
special,
No. It's
expensive,
Yeah, we had too much light.
glaring. Oh,
expensive watches, you know.
oh,
Everything went down.
He's got that
Thank
purple
you.
heart down it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's very nice.
can you see those?
Yep.
I had a lot of other medals that I didn't get a
Mhm.
chance to put them on.
Okay. Yep. Very nice. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, did you have any questions,
Okay.
Suzanne?
Not really, I just,
Well, actually, I wanted to double check with you. When you were going to the Philippines and you said you were on a ship called the 738,
7:30.
what kind of ship was that?
It was just an LST.
An LST.
LST,
Okay.
it had ammunition, it
Okay.
had bullets,
Okay.
it had gasoline, 100 octane, it had a Jeep. The Jeep exploded, it hit me in the shoulder,
Okay.
and big trucks.
All right. So that was one thing I wasn't sure
Yeah.
about. And,
I'm telling you, as I said, God watched over me.
mhm.
I couldn't believe it.
So you were gone for almost 3 years, huh?
Yeah,
Okay. Were you able to hear from your family?
not for a long time.
Right.
They had me missing the Nations because I was gone 47 days. You know?
Oh,
And my mother called Arlene, said, "Have you heard from Eddie?" No. And then I guess the State Department called and said that he's missing the Nations. He left Pearl Harbor at I think it was September,
mhm.
and we don't know where he is.
Okay.
But that's just one of the goofed up deals that now if the destroyers would have stayed with us till we got to the shore, I would have got injured.
Mhm. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's just one of the goof up jobs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And so the medals that you received were the Good Conduct Medal and the Purple Heart.
And there was other good conduct, and I used to shoot a rifle and everything else there. We was target practice and all we got. I had so many freaking medals and
So you would have gotten the Pacific Campaign Medal, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I had.
You know these ship pictures.
And so
somebody
you were
said
in the
you
5th
can
Air
see the
Force,
number
right?
on here,
Okay.
but I can't see any number
Okay.
on that little ship
What's that?
on this.
Nope.
Can
Too
you see a
difficult, no.
number?
No.
I can't see any number.
What's
That's the
that?
ship.
Oh, I do see, it looks like, I see a 73.
Wow.
It looks like 736.
738?
Could be 738.
Yeah,
Okay.
What
Yep.
was it?
Amazing. 738.
738.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Did you have any other questions?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Thank you so much for your interview, sir.
Okay, you're welcome. I'm
Thank you.
sure.